Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Mosso at the1916company.com. It is in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Reach out to us directly, Mosso at the1916company.com for pricing. Today, we discuss an example of what might be Corum's greatest model line. Today, we discuss the tonneau-cased Corum Golden Bridge, a 2005 tonneau-cased redesign of the company's 1980 baguette movement solid gold caliber Golden Bridge. While tonneaus are considered to be a first, third 20th century aesthetic, they also have a modern following. And in many ways, the vertical orientation of this case makes it a more natural vessel for Vincent Calabresi's incredible vertically aligned baguette caliber. Yes, that's true. Back in 1980, when Corum brought this to market, they brought it to market as the production embodiment of AHCI co-founder Vincent Calabresi's solid gold baguette movement. He had shopped it around, but at the time in Switzerland, most brands were moving away from mechanical watchmaking as quickly as possible. Corum uniquely thought that the baguette caliber fit with its design ethic. Watches like the Admiral's Cup with its multifaceted profile, novelties like the Feather, the Rolls-Royce, the Coin. Corum, founded in 1955 by René Bonvart in La Chaux-de-Fonds, was always about design, and the idea of a baguette caliber made of gold simply took them and they ran with it. So that's exactly what we have right here. And as a bonus, you get something designed by one of the great independents of modern horology, Vincent Calabresi. Now, the tonneau case here in rose gold, 32 millimeters across, 50.7 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, 10.6 millimeters thick with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. It wears like a 42 millimeter round watch. That's how I would describe it. It's fairly broad across the wrist, but though it looks like it might be pretty sheer and thick, it is actually quite thin and it will sit underneath a dress cuff. I'd recommend it for a wrist of 15 centimeters circumference or larger, and again, for reference, mine is 16. The strap, large rectangular scale, symmetrical scale alligator leather. So when they're large, rectangular, and symmetrical, you know you're looking at a very good cut of the alligator hide. Some bolstering to add volume, gloss finish, medium brown, I'd describe it. You can see there's a folded edge and a monotone stitch, calfskin on the bottom, no crimping, no gouging, a brand new Corum factory strap. The buckle is made of rose gold to match the case, and you can see it features some striations that echo the design of the case itself. We also have an unusual use of lateral hallmarking there and an elevated bridge, which means that the strap actually sits inside the buckle rather than stacking up underneath it and adding height on the wrist. So you have the little elevated bridge design that I always like to see. The tonneau case does seem more of a fit for the Golden Bridge, which has always been a linear design. The round case was simply what everyone worked with back in 1980 when the first one came out. No one thought that there would be a renewed appetite for tonneau cases. That seemed like an anachronism at the time. But with the success of primarily Franck Muller during the 1990s, the tonneau case became cool again in the early 2000s, and so for its 50th anniversary watch, Corum launched a tonneau version of the Golden Bridge. The timepiece, of course, features a seamless case. If you look, you realize that there's no break between bezel and case flank because it is a monoblock case. Everything loads through the back, so you do have that seamless aesthetic. Corum is known as an art house. It is always about design. In the modern era, it's launched the trapeze, the toboggan, the bubble, and so it always tries to push the limits of design because that's where its corporate soul is. Now, we have little viewports in profile that allow you to see the movement. It's quite revealing, actually. So sapphire viewports on the sides of cases often disappoint. They don't let you see much. Here, you can really easily see the keyless works and the barrel, the multiplication drivetrain that increases the speed of the wheels. So you have the barrel, the train, the escape wheel, and the balance, and they're all quite easy to see. You can see it as a pillar movement. There is a silver pillar right in the center. You can see that on each side. Pillar movement construction is something you generally only find on vintage marine chronometers. It's very rare today. Who does it? Chronometry Ferdinand Berthoud. Karsten Freisdorf, not a whole lot of people. So it's a very different look, and you can see how the pillar itself has been bright polished and curved into an hourglass profile. Absolutely beautiful. And in profile, you can see that the bridges are all satinated, whereas from the top, you could see that they have been recessed, relieved, engraved by hand with volutes and arabesque, and then chiseled internally. We have the edges of the bridges, which are polished and beveled. All screw heads are black, polished wheels are satinated, and this is a true 18-karat solid gold bridge. It's not just golden in color, it is gold in fact. So you can see 18-karat right there, and you can see how simple it is. We have barrel, great wheel, third wheel, fourth wheel, escape wheel, balance. Now, what you will notice right here is that there is a Vaucher manufacturer star on there. I mentioned Corum is an art house. They often work with more engineering adept partners to bring their movements, even their in-house movements, to fruition. And while the Golden Bridge movement predates the Vaucher partnership by many decades, nevertheless, you can see that Vaucher's payoff here is that we actually get an unusual free-sprung architecture. I would not have expected that. That makes the watch more shock tolerant and easier to adjust precisely. And then you can see that 7,000 up there. That's the Vaucher code for the train on which this is based. And Corum calls this the CO 113. 40-hour power reserve, manually wound, 4 hertz beat rate, again quite modern, free sprung, 19 joules, and completely linear from one end to the next, all 30 meters water resistant. The finishing is extraordinary. And there is a fair question to be asked that many have asked, and I'd like to clarify, but this is the bottom of the watch. There really is no reason you couldn't wear it upside down and tell time all the same, but officially, this is how you wear the watch, and the crown goes at the bottom. You could see the Corum logo on the polished and media blasted crown. That is the Corum key, the key to la chaux de fond. It is a double key, and the watch wears beautifully, but it is a remarkably striking thing. Open, airy, prismatic, with the movement suspended like a jewel in a vitrine. This is the heart and soul of Corum. If you love this watch, reach out. Purchase and pricing, Team Mosso at the 1916company.com.